I'm Daniel Schep. I'm a software engineer and regularly a trail mapper in Richmond, Virginia, and I will be talking about Ultra, a tool that I made for making maps with OSM data and now more than just OSM data. A lot of us are probably familiar with the venerable Overpass Turbo. It's powered by Leaflet, has custom styling capabilities, as you can see here, powered by Map CSS. But Leaflet's a bit old. It has some performance constraints, and I never learned Map CSS. I, however, am familiar with MapLibra, or before it, Mapbox styling. So I built something which was originally called Overpass Ultra about 2 years ago. It allowed you to query Overpass and render results using MapLibra. Um, Now, some of you have probably seen this pop up in Overpass Turbo, and then this sort of sluggish performance when you have lots of results, or you've probably seen worse performance than this. If we run this same query for bus stops in, I think this was Paris, um, in Overpass Ultra, it's smooth as butter thanks to MapLibre's and Mapbox's excellent GeoJSON support, and looks nice zooming in and out as well because of fractional zoom support. As I mentioned, Overpass Turbo was stylable using Map CSS, which is effectively CSS syntax, but instead of styling an HTML document, you're styling map features. But as I mentioned, I did not know how to use this, and I already knew an existing styling language. So Ultra allows you to use the MapLibra style specification to achieve pretty much the same results. When I initially wrote it, you had to actually write this in your style JSON, host that somewhere. It was very, very painful. About a year ago, I released V2, which came with this nice new domain of overpassultra.us, and you can write it as YAML front matter in front of your query. If you're familiar with MapLibra styling, you may have noticed in that screenshot there are some differences. Notably, when you're just styling your results, you're defining a partial MapLibra style. You don't have to specify the source for your layers. It extends an existing style, but you can specify what style you want to extend if you want to. It's written in YAML rather than JSON, making it a lot easier for humans to write. It supports anchors, allowing for reuse of parts of your style. And paint and layout keys can be defined at the layer root rather than nested inside of a paint key, which if you write a lot of MapLibra, you still probably struggle with remembering which keys are layout keys and which ones are paint keys. I know I do. So now they get automatically sorted into the right directive key. Another advantage is as a vector engine and using vector styles, you can do things such as place your styled result features below existing map features. So here you can see the ref little box is above the rendered dotted lines and solid lines, which are bicycle infrastructure in this case, as well as road labels remaining above that rather than being obscured by the query result. Additionally, it'll do things like symbol collision so that if the base map had a point of interest where you have a query point of interest, that will just go away and it'll result in a much cleaner looking map. Now, why is it Ultra, not Overpass Ultra anymore, despite the domain name, because that's hard to change. I introduced late last fall the concept of query providers. We have support for Overpass, of course, but a huge selection of other queries now as well as the default queries now provider is a auto provider, which will automatically detect any of these query types that end with a star. Some of these are a little stranger, like OSM Wiki here is what Matt alluded to in a previous talk, where you just paste in the tag or key URL from an OSM wiki, and it will turn that into an overpass query just when you hit run. Um, Additionally, thanks to Min never ever shutting up about QLever and SoFox, I finally learned a little bit of Sparkle. Thank you, Min. Which allows you to do impressive planet scale queries. For example, I updated this query at the last minute. This is not sped up or anything. But since we're doing pizza, here we have all the pizza restaurants in the world loaded in a GIF, and you can zoom in and out, see them all very fast, super. Like, I'm still amazed by how well this works. um, Additionally, I've recently integrated EMD's Esri dump, which allows you to load features from Esri feature server and map servers. It has some auto detect support, so if you just have a URL that has feature server slash a number for the layer, it'll automatically load it up. Here I'm loading census blocks from the city of Richmond's GIS servers. Little comparison. So it does some things that Overpass Turbo does, and plenty of things that and doesn't do some of the things Overpass Turbo does. So they both run overpass queries, of course. However, I don't have a query wizard. I don't have syntax highlighting because that would be real tricky with the broad variety of syntaxes that are supported. I don't implement short links because there is no server side of my own to this tool. I have not implemented geocoding. I've thought about it. I haven't figured out how to best go about it given the multi query provider nature of Ultra. It also does not support non-spatial results from Overpass. You can only put things on a map. So if you get CSV, it doesn't know what to do with that. It can, however, allow you to customize the pop-up you get when you click on a query result feature. And for sharing, while it doesn't do short links, if you've ever shared a query, an overpass query, you've probably wished that you could change it after you shared it. So I have built in the ability to load queries from a gist on GitHub, allowing you to share a query with a relatively short URL, actually, that you can also then update without having to send people a new link. It can also load from arbitrary URLs, and as I mentioned before, they have entirely different styling customization mechanisms. Some other tool comparisons a little bit. Similar to GeoJSON.io, if you're working with just raw GeoJSON, you have a panel of GeoJSON and a map next to it. Feels very similar. However, Ultra has no graphical editing capabilities, tabular editing capabilities. It does support the default style for GeoJSON, also implements the Mapbox simple style spec. So if you've styled something in GeoJSON.io, it'll work fine in Ultra as well. Maputnik, I just included this, I'll gloss over it. What's next? I'm working on more export options besides just a GeoJSON file. I want to allow users to download the style JSON that is ultimately generated by Ultra, as well as a standalone HTML file that uses it that you can just throw up on any static web hosting to have your map. As well as, I don't know why this 3 is here, but I'm also working on turf.js integration so that you can do cool things with the results that you get back. Similar to like the Voronoi stuff that Matt was showing off in WAMAP. And that's it. Here are a couple links. Go to Overpass Ultra at US to use it. Add /docs to get the documentation where there are examples documenting most of the screenshots I showed here. Links to slides, source code. Hit me up on Slack or Mastodon with any feedback you have. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. I want to see those mapping of all those pizza restaurants with the symbology that Brandon had for like whether they're square, triangle, all the pieces next time. Pull that up.
I don't know. Do they have, is there a tag for a pizza slice type?
To be discovered or invented.
New tag proposal. Let's
Yeah.
do it.